Hello friends, Mr. P here, your music teacher. We're going to be doing the human drum set today, and it's very challenging, but we're also going to be discussing music notation a little bit. And we're going to start with these 5 lines. It's called the staff. Important to remember that word, the staff. 5 lines, okay? Now, the way we count the lines is from the bottom up, not from the top down. So if we say the first line, it's the bottom line. I'm trying to get these papers together. They're not coming apart. Here we go. So we count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines going up, all right? So if we refer to the first line or the second line, you know which one I'm talking about? Yeah, okay. Between the lines, we have these spaces. And count those from the bottom up as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. 4 spaces in between the lines. Okay? Here's something you've seen before. Notes. Oh yeah. Quarter notes up here. 1/8 notes down here. These look like walking notes. They're like little feet with legs. And these guys are faster. These are 1/8 notes. I think you guys usually do ta, 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 ta. Or for these, ta-dee, 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 ta-dee. And here's a little secret about it. Not really secret, but you flip them around. Hey, they still work. They're not wrong when they're upside down. So now, but we have the 1/8 notes now on the top. So ta-dee, 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 and then ta, 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 ta. So either way, the notes can have the stems going down or going up. Either way. I don't know if you know the names of the different kinds of notes. We're not going to discuss all of them today. But this note is called, once again, the quarter note, walking note. It gets 1 beat or 1 count. So if you're counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's how fast your quarter notes would be. We have this little thing, it looks like a number 3 almost. It's called a quarter rest. It lasts the same amount of time as the quarter note, but it's a quiet. It's like a placekeeper, and you're quiet if there's a rest. And it gets 1 count or 1 beat. And it means you don't play for that moment. Then we have this, it's an 1/8 note. It looks like a quarter note with a little flag coming down. That's called an 1/8 note, and it gets a 1/2 of a beat. And there's 2 of them down there. There's a pair. And if there's more than 1, you can draw them this way also with the little line across the top, all right? So 1/8 notes, 1/8 notes. And the ta-dee, ta-dee, they're the same. These are the same as these. If there's more than 1, you can draw them this way or that way. All right, you got 'em? All right, now we're going to start some music here. We're going to start with the kick drum or the bass drum with our foot. And it's going to be ta, 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 ta. For counting, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another way to count it, and I'll explain why in a little while. But in between the numbers, you put an and. You don't play in between because these are quarter notes. So it would be, let me see if I'll do it with my foot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Same as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry to be wiggling the page up and down for you. But anyway, when you write these notes on the staff, they go on the bottom space, first space. And that's kick drum or bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4, also known as ta, 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 ta. All right, we're going to try that. Can you remember this? It's easier than it looks. Sometimes it's harder to read the music than it is to actually play it once you get how it goes. So I'm going to use this foot. You can use this foot. You can either just use your toe and tap it like that, or you can pick up your whole foot if you want to get a little more sound. Whichever is easier for you, there's no right and wrong with that, okay? So I'm going to count to 4, then we're going to play the 4 beats. Some drummers call this 4 on the floor. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't just watch me do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. You always participate with me as if I'm like sitting across from you. Don't just watch. Don't just watch. Because you're not going to get to be good music just by watching. Okay, now we have the snare drum. I showed you the snare drum on the video a couple of weeks ago. Remember it? Snare drum. It's going to be, there's a rest on the first beat, then you play it, then a rest on the third beat, and then you play it. So it'll be like rest, ta, rest, ta. And down here, well, let's do the counting up here first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other way to count it, which I'll tell you in a couple minutes why. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. When it's written down, as you can see on the staff, it's on the 1, 2, third space, which is going to be the snare drum. So we have rest, play, snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. I'm going to put this down. We're going to sit down and try it together. This is super easy. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget to do it with me. The other thing is, don't be too stiff. Don't like keep your hand there and just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to feel the whole thing like music, and that will make you a better musician in the end. All right? So feel the whole thing, even though you're not making any sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Are you ready to try both of those parts together? You are? It's not that hard. I think you'll be great at it. So let me show you what it looks like in music. It's the kick drum or snare drum, bass drum. I'm sorry, kick drum or bass drum. Snare drum's with it. And we're going to do snare drum together. So you can see over here, the same beat we were doing before with the kick drum or the bass drum was ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the snare drum, we have a rest, and then ta, rest, ta, rest, ta, rest, ta, or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do both at the same time. This is what we're going to be playing, all right, on our human drum set. So sit down with me. If you're not already sitting, you probably are. You don't have to move around like I do. So let's start with the foot going first. 4 on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 2 and 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe some of you were asking, Mr. P, I want to use my other foot. That's okay. Some of you were saying, Mr. P, I want to use my other hand. That's okay too. You can mix it up, and let's try both on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can also do like, this foot and this hand. You want to try it? Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. You can just stick with the same foot and hand also. You don't have to keep switching. You can stay with whatever is comfortable for you. I'm going to go the last combination, which is this foot and this hand. But you can do whatever you like best, or you can copy me. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Okay, now let's get back to why are we doing all those 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Mr. P? Well, let me tell you. We're going to be adding the hi-hat. Now, I have a hi-hat right here that you can see. The hi-hat has a foot pedal right here with your foot. You can play it. You can also use a stick on it. I'm going to bring it a little closer. You can see what I'm doing here. See those cymbals on there? There's 2 cymbals. There's one on the bottom and one on the top. And this is a percussion instrument. Any instrument that you use, a stick or a mallet or banging, that's a percussion instrument. So this is percussion. And so I'm going to play eighth notes. Toddy, 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 toddy. Now, when you're counting, you would count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can do it with your foot on a hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or you could keep the hi-hat closed with your foot. Let me see if I can get down here. And you can just play it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can play it like that too. But I don't think you have a hi-hat at your house, so we're just going to do it on our legs. And let me show you what it looks like in the music. These notes look a little bit different. Instead of circles filled in, they're little X's. So toddy, 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 toddy. Now look down here. We have 4 together and 4 together. This is exactly the same as these up here. It's just a different way of writing it. All right. Toddy, 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 toddy. Okay, now I'm going to count them and play them. You play with me with your hand. You can tap your leg. Ready? Go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Now, the way you write these on the staff is they go on the very top line. They sit on the top line. And then you know you're playing hi-hat. And it's X's. Okay, so let's try that one more time before I sit down and show you what's next. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, I'm going to sit back down. Let's try that hi-hat together. Either hand. I'm going to do both hands, but you can do one hand or the other hand or both. Ready? Go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to mix them up. I'm going to mix up right here. Oh, I forgot my favorite mix-up. Can you wait right there? I'm going to be right back. See how long it takes me. Count. I'm going to, on your mark, get set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know where it is. 9, 10. Oh, here it is. Snare drum and kick. We already did this. I'm looking for it like crazy. We already did that. So we're going to add, sorry, Mr. P got mixed up there. We're going to do kick drum, bass drum, and the hi-hat now. All right, so we have, and I would count this. Now here's the whole reason we're counting the ands with the kick drum before, because we're going to be doing the kick drum and counting the ands in between so we know where we are with the hi-hat, with the fast one. So the hi-hat is going to be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right up here. And the kick drum is going to be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at the same time. All right, this is where it starts to get a little harder, but I think you can do it just fine. Let's try. So start with your foot, and I'll count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now add your hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And help me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And some of you might want to do the other leg or the other hand. That's fine. Or you can stay on that leg and hand if you want that foot and hand rather. Well, let's start with the foot. 1, 2, add the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And nice. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And let's do both if you want to. Or you can just stick with one leg and one hand, whichever one you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And some of you probably say, Mr. P, are we done yet? No, I'm sorry, we're not done yet. But we're almost done. We're getting there. We got 2 more examples. And I promise I didn't throw anything in the other room. So here we have snare drum and hi-hat at the same time. So this, I think, is a little bit easier than the one we just did with the kick drum. We just 2 hands. One hand is going to be going ta-dee, 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 ta-dee. And the other hand is rest, ta, rest, ta. Okay, so that's what it looks like. We have the hi-hat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the snare drum, or the other hand, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so let's try that one now. Ready? Sitting back. You're probably sitting the whole time, relaxing. Make sure you're participating. This is where it starts to get a little challenging. We're going to start with the hi-hat, either hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now add the snare on 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 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 excellent. All right. Now, last thing. You're probably saying, oh, finally. But this is the hardest thing of all, is doing all 3 things at the same time. Kick drum, snare drum, and hi-hat. 3 things, all different from each other at the same time. Let me show you what it looks like in the music. Kick drum, bass drum, and snare drum and hi-hat. So we have on the top line of the staff, on the 5th line on top of it, we have the hi-hat. Ta-dee, 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 ta-dee. The counting is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And on the very bottom, we have the kick drum. 1, 2, and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we have on the 1, 2, 3rd space, we have the snare drum. Now when you start putting all that music on the same line, they don't always put a rest in there. But you can see there's no snare drum here on the 3rd beat and no snare drum here on the 1st beat. Yes, you got that? Okay, so the snare drum, once again, just like we've been practicing, has been 2nd beat and 4th beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to do all 3 at the same time. All 3 at the same time. All right, that's what it looks like. And once again, doing it is actually just a little bit easier than reading it, unless you're a super duper reader. And here we go. Let's start with the hi-hat, which is the hardest thing of all because it's the fastest. Okay, so let's get that going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now add the kick drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now snare on 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and the beat I want you to do. 4 on the floor. It's used a lot in a lot of different kinds of music, especially dance music, and a lot of rock and roll uses it. Blues uses it too sometimes. In the olden days, they used it in disco music a lot. A lot of dance music uses it. I'm going to do it one more time for practice. Your homework is to do this beat for me. Videotape this beat. Do a video of this for me and send it to me. That's your homework. You don't have to do it for 10 minutes. You have to do it for maybe less than a minute would be fine. If you need to do it slow, do it slow. If you can do it faster and you want to show off that you're fast, you can do that. That's any way is fine, as long as you're doing this beat. Okay, I'm going to start it one more time. 1, and you can start it anyway. You can start it all at once. You could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But a lot of times you might need to start one thing at a time to ease yourself into the groove, into the beat. All right. So it's 1. Let's start with the hi-hat. I'm sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm going to do it extra slow if you need to work with me on this. Don't forget, Mr. P's been doing this a long time. So for me, it's pretty easy. If you haven't ever done this before, it might take you a week or 2 weeks of like a little bit every day trying to do it to get better at it enough before you do your homework. Don't do your homework right now and send it to me. Make sure you practice it and you're comfortable and you got a groove. I don't want a drummer in my band who keeps stopping and getting faster and slower. You got to be able to relax with it, and that takes time and practice. All right, so I'm going to give a real slow. Then I'm going to play one of my favorite songs and play along with it just for fun. And you can do that too. You could play along with a song that you like if it's not too fast for you. So here we go. Last time before I play the music. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah. My friends, I was in a band a long time ago, and when we would learn a new song, we would all try to do it too fast a lot of times. And the drummer would yell, "Hey everybody, tempo," which is speed, tempo de learne, which means learning tempo or learning speed. And it's kind of a joke if you know a lot about the way they label some of the music things. It's probably not that funny for you, but tempo de learne means nice and slow. Last time. And then you're going to videotape this for me maybe next week or after a few days of practice. Videotape it, or video, you don't tape it, I guess. Video and send it to me, Mr. P. I want to see what you can do. Make sure I can see your feet. And that's it. It's been a lot of fun. One more time slow, then I'm going to put on the music and trail out of here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. Now we're going to try fast. Alexa, play Eliminator.
Playing Eliminator by ZZ Top from Spotify.
Here we go. Ready? See you guys later. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Oh yeah, guys. See you later.